Me contaron los abuelos que hace tiempo navegaba en el Cesar una piragua que partía del Banco Viejo Puerto a las playas de amor en Chimichagua. Capoteando el vendaval se estremecía, impasible desafiaba la tormenta y un ejército de estrellas la seguía, tachonándola de luz y de leyenda. Era la piragua de Guillermo Cubillo, era la piragua, era la piragua, era la piragua de Guillermo Cubillo, era la piragua, era la piragua.
Con la piel color majagua y con ellas el temible Pedro algún día en las noches a los remos arrancaba su melódico rugir de hermosa cumbia. 12 sombras fías ya no reman, ya no cruje en el derrame en el agua, solo quedan los recuerdos en la arena, donde yace dormitando la piragua. Era la piragua de Guillermo Cubillo.
Era la piragua, era la piragua.
Era la piragua de Guillermo Cubillo.
Era la piragua, era la piragua.
La piragua,
La piragua,
la piragua, la piragua. Me contaron los abuelos que hace tiempo navegaba en el Cesar una piragua que partía del Banco Viejo Puerto a las playas de amor en Chimichagua. Capeteando el vendaval se estremecía, impasible desafiaba la
damas. Let's give them a big round of applause in NAHJ style, please. A little bit louder. Un aplauso. Ladies, incredible. Let me tell you, they have an album that just came out on September 8th, and of course I have it right here. I feel very Jimmy Fallon right now. And all of these women are from different countries: Brazil, Venezuela, Colombia, and the United States. So thank you again, ladies. It's very nice to meet you all. As you can see, we have an incredible opening act, and as I want to replay some of the video in my mind, I saw some of our national board members and our Hall of Famers that were in that video earlier. They might need to add these talents, these karaoke talents, to their resume, right? Let's give them a round of applause as well. I offered to do a little Joe y La Familia, a little Selena in this, and they said no, so I'm glad La Damas could come out here tonight. If you're looking at your program and you're seeing that Manuel Bojorquez is not here, I apologize. He's actually covering Hurricane Irma, like a number of our colleagues out there right now. I am pinch hitting for him, and I couldn't be happier. Welcome to the 2017 Hall of Fame Gala, and what an amazing show opener that we just heard right now. That is the way we kick things off here at NAHJ. I am Mireya Villarreal. I'm with CBS News. I'm a national correspondent, and I'm proud to say I'm one of the few Latina national correspondents on Network News. We are live here from the House of Blues, Anaheim, and streaming right now on the NAHJ website around the globe. So, if you're not watching college football, if you're not watching Hurricane Irma, and you're not watching House of Cards on Netflix, and you're watching us at home right now, thank you so much and welcome to our wonderful show. Please join us on all social media platforms in the conversation by using the hashtag #MoreLatinosInNews.
Hello, I'm Brandon Benavides. I'm the president of the National Association of Hispanic Journalists. Thank you all for being here. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for emceeing. This is an amazing event. I want to thank a couple of people first. I want to acknowledge our lifetime members. Thank you for all that you do and your donations to the National Association of Hispanic Journalists. Thank you, lifetime members, for your help. I may be the face of the National Association of Hispanic Journalists, but I do not do it alone. I may be president, but I am not alone. I want to thank our board of directors. The board, please stand. Thank you for all that you've done, and we have been a united front together. Thank you. And our executive director, Alberto Mendoza, thank you. The staff, Leslie Ann, Janet, and then BA and her team, they've done an amazing job. That video was amazing.
Yes.
And the luncheon and this House of Blues, they have done an amazing job, so thank you. We may be celebrating right now here our 5 inductees and our presidential awardee, but I want to mention our colleagues who are in the eye of the storm with Hurricane Irma and Hurricane Jose. Our thoughts and prayers are with them as the storm approaches. I also want to acknowledge our colleagues who are covering the aftermath of Hurricane Harvey in Houston and Louisiana. They may not be here with us, but they are here in spirit, so I acknowledge them. What amazing conference this has been. When we're here with EIJ, we are part of the most focused journalism associations, and we come together during a conference ensuring attendees a very quality experience overall, and this was no different. I believe it was 4 years ago that I was here in Anaheim and I was awarded the Si Se Puede Award from our past president, Hugo Balta. Thank you, Hugo, and our past presidents for being here. This is a full circle moment for me to be here because I joined NAHJ as a student member in 2004, and now I am the president of the National Association of Hispanic Journalists.
Yes. Amazing.
And my news director, Bernice Carney, is here with me and supports all of my efforts, so thank you, Bernice. We have accomplished a lot this week and more. Not only did we relaunch the Brownout Report with the help of Federico Supervivi, who we are inducting into the Hall of Fame tonight, we also launched a national survey with the University of Texas at El Paso. Researchers Thank you, UTEP. Researchers are determining the conditions inside the newsroom with our Latino journalists, but also a new partnership with George Mason University to help bring resources and education and storytelling on climate science and weather forecasts. We are part of that research project with the National Science Foundation. These are a few of the many great things that we are providing to all of our journalists at all career levels. For years, NAHJ has said we must increase the influence of Latinos in the newsroom. We need to make sure that newsrooms across the country reflect the communities we cover. This means at every level, from editor, photographer, chief photographer, producer, to executive producer, assistant news director, vice president of news, and president of a network news division, we need to be at the table. Our association members are the ones to implement change, and I applaud and celebrate all of you who make that commitment to not only better yourselves as industry professionals, but to take the step to better position yourselves as leaders to help and develop your colleagues and teams. Thank you. When we're at a time as journalists where we face a great divide, to come together to identify and celebrate our fellow colleagues, regardless of network, outlet, or medium, it is a necessary and great thing. I want to thank each and every one of you for helping to make this incredible conference, to be here tonight to help us induct 5 of the top professionals and some of our dear friends who have been members for a while, who are so deserving to be in our Hall of Fame and recognized this evening. When you encounter an individual whose creativity matches his talent for investigative reporting, it's needless to say a very powerful combination. The only thing I can think of that is better than someone who possesses such dynamic characteristics is someone who takes those understandings and invests them into others. Andres Cedillo has been recommended by his colleagues as a person who brings new levels of energy and service to initiatives pushing the Hispanic representation in newsrooms. Here is a look into the creative brilliance of Andres. It is my honor to welcome to the stage Andres Cedillo.
La lluvia. Thank you, everybody. It's an honor to be here. As we take this time to celebrate, because this is a celebration, that's why I picked this song, so we could feel the spirit tonight. As I wrote in the program, the song makes me think about my family. I'm blessed to have my wife here with me to come all this way. Thank you for joining me here tonight. And I think about my family in Florida. My brother just moved to Florida and picked up his wife, his mother-in-law, his baby girls to go to Georgia to get out of the way. My cousin is in Fort Lauderdale, and he's not going anywhere. He's got his tabaco y ron, and he's going to wait it out. Because that's how he does it. But then I also think about the people that I've worked with there. Sources of mine, incredibly brave people. One, a trafficking survivor who had to mandatorily evacuate, and he's also seeking shelter. And another worker who has been here without papers, working for a long time, who's put himself on the line to help others and other trafficking survivors. He's in a shelter right now with about 70,000 other Floridians. So as we think about those people, tonight we are here to celebrate. It's important that we celebrate. There's still others to keep in mind. There's 800,000 young people whose dreams of home are now slowly being pulled out from under them. We get reports from NBC, thank you very much, about an Operation Mega, largest immigration operation of its kind, that after NBC reported, they pulled it back saying it was the weather. But again, tonight we celebrate. We have to celebrate because we have to take the time to fill our souls and fill our spirits to go out there and do the jobs that we do every day. There's people suffering. There's injustices. There's crimes going on. There's people who need to be held accountable. And when you go out and you do that work and you get yourself exposed to that, it can take a toll. So that's why I'm honored to be here with you to celebrate all the good work that we all do. I want to thank NAHJ for honoring me and for bringing us all here together. I wanted to specifically thank two students of mine, Angelica Casas and Pablo de la Hoya. Without them, I literally wouldn't be here. And I want to thank all my past, present, and future students at the UC Berkeley Graduate School of Journalism. This is a time where we need to invest in young journalists to go out there and do the work that we do, because there's a lot to be done. Thank you so much. It's been quite an honor.
Now, I was excited to hear earlier this week that there will be a return of the Brownout Report. For those of you who don't know what the Brownout Report is, it basically is an accountability of how many Latinos are on network or any type of news. Just one stat that I want to share with you, because I am in news and that's what we do here. Back in 2005, one of the last years that the Brownout Report was issued, there was an estimated 12,600 stories on network evening newscasts. 12,000, over 12,000. 105 of them, less than 1%, were exclusively about Latinos. Less than 1%. That's why when we have conferences like this and we all join together and we talk about coming together and holding people accountable, now more than ever I think we feel like this accountability is absolutely needed, especially in our current administration. Our next Hall of Fame inductee has played a critical role in bringing back such an essential piece to our initiative, increasing media diversity. Beyond this, he has dedicated the majority of his life to research and study of Latinos in media issues. They say saber is poder, and Dr. Federico Subervi is using his knowledge to drive our mission to put more Latinos in the newsrooms. Take a look.
Where's the news literacy about Latino-oriented media? Okay, now what are we going to do about Latino-oriented media, news literacy? And we also pointed out that it has to be different from just translating. Number one, there's no just translating the English stuff to Spanish, because that doesn't work. And number two, that is different to focus on Latino-oriented media in the United States. And number three, it's different to focus on Latin American media from Latin America.
Federico Subervi, and give him a big round of applause.
this is the biggest medal I've ever received. It's lovely, and it goes with planet Jupiter, which is the music that you just heard. Jupiter is for joy, and that's why I selected it. It inspires me when I work at home from my office, just doing things. And at this moment, for me, it's just an opportunity to give thanks to people who've made possible my years of dedication to this field. And number one in that is my wife, Julia Suburbi, 40 years marriage. Thank you, Julia. It's dark from here, I cannot see, but I can feel your smile. And my daughter is also here with me. They came for this event for me. I also want to thank Brandon and Alberto for bringing me back to the NAHJ, which I hadn't been for a couple of years. But I've been part of this organization since it was started in 1982, 83, when I was beginning my academic career at the University of California at Santa Barbara, and from there on to different universities. There's a bit of a typo in the affiliation with the university. It was Kent State, the last one, not Berkeley. But that's okay. It's just a little bit of an oversight, and no big deal with that. It's an honor to be part of Berkeley, where I've given lectures in the past. Thanks also to the people who nominated me for this award. You made a difference in my feeling appreciated in this organization, and I will continue. I can say that my academic career, I'm not affiliated with any university now. My salary retired, but I have not. I continue doing the Brownout Report and many other studies, which I'm proud of and will continue to do. And I want to dedicate this award to the people who value research for the journalism profession, because it is an indispensable part for documenting the problem that we face in this field. So it goes to my previous students, some of whom are here, dealing with the new research, and the future students, and all the folks who will be part of the planting of the seeds for future journalists and future research to improve this field, to cultivate the knowledge, to make it a better field and a better world for all of us. Muchas gracias. Adelante.
How's everybody doing tonight? We are letting the joy rise. Unfortunately, our governor of California could not be here with us this evening. However, Governor Jerry Brown sent us over a message to share with you, our honorees, award recipients, and attendees this evening.
Welcome to California. It's great you've chosen this state for your convention. Hispanic journalism, what could be more important at this period in American history and in this place, California? This is a place, a state, where 1 out of every 4 people are born in a foreign country. And the number 1 country of origin is Mexico and or Hispanic states and nations. This is a time that really tries men's souls. The anti-immigrant mood, the prejudice that we see rising up, particularly under the Trump administration, it's something that has to give pause to all of us. And what we need more than anything is honest reporting, good, solid journalism. This is a heck of a story. I was governor in 1975 for the next 8 years, and now I'm governor for another 8 years, many years later. And in the intervening period, there have been so many ups and downs. Prop 187, other things that came to dominate the news cycle. But now we see a tremendous power in the Hispanic community of California. It's diverse, it's powerful, and it's politically astute. And I'm very privileged to have been a beneficiary of so many Hispanic partners and friends and supporters, and also a witness to the transformation of a state and the emergence of a people. They used to call it the sleeping giant, no more. It is powerful. The Hispanic community is now a pillar, a fundamental pillar of California and its culture. That's what it was, that's what it is, and that's what it will become even more so. Good luck in all your deliberations, and again, welcome to California.
Thank you, Governor Jerry Brown. I also invited President Donald Trump. The scheduling office said that there was a conflict, but the president sends his best wishes. So For the past years, I've seen CNN Jim Acosta in action, covering the current and past administration. Jim has always pushed both sides to answer tough questions. More than ever, we need individuals like this to empower our colleagues and the next generation. As NHJ advocates for ensuring our communities have a seat at the table, Jim Acosta has risen through his career to be a voice for the people. We are letting the joy rise back there. BA, you okay? Now, Jim is not afraid to hold our elected leaders accountable. He is not. We've seen this on TV. Regardless of criticism, Jim remains focused in his pursuit of truth for our communities. Acosta is among an elite group of journalists covering the White House. It is a great honor to present tonight the recipient of this year's Presidential Award, Jim Acosta. Come on up, Jim.
Lights go out and I can be saved. Tides that I tried to swim against put me down upon my knees. Oh, I beg and please sing it.
I didn't know that moved. My goodness. It's a beautiful award. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for being here tonight. You said something about a scheduling conflict for the president. I think I know what that conflict is. Thanks, everybody, for being here tonight. I appreciate it. The lights are on, so I can't see if anybody ordered any Cosmopolitans. Did anybody order? Maybe not. All right. Those are the only two jokes I have. All right. It is an honor to accept the award from the National Association of Hispanic Journalists. I'm very proud to be a part of this organization. Very proud to be with you here tonight, all of the other Hall of Fame Gala recipients that are here tonight. And I also wanted to mention, gosh, I have this giant coin here. I'm going to put this down for a second. I'll put it right there. We're casual here. This is fine. I also want to mention, and I think it's important that we point this out, Cecilia Alvear. She could not be here tonight. She passed away this year. She was a proud member of this organization. She was the first Latina producer in network news. She was at NBC News, and we're very proud of her, and we wish she could be here tonight, but we pay tribute to her tonight, as well as the other Hall of Fame recipients who are here. I'm very proud to be up on this stage with all of you, and proud to accept this award, so thank you very much. Appreciate that. They asked me to limit my comments to a couple of minutes, and I'm going to do the best that I can. But because we're all here tonight and we're gathered here and we care so much about our heritage and our roots and this very important craft of journalism that we're all committed to at this moment, I hope you'll indulge me a little bit if I go over that just a touch. It's very moving for me to speak to fellow Latinos in journalism. Especially our younger colleagues who I've met here tonight. They may be searching for some answers in this world that seems to be lacking clarity. That's the world we live in right now. But you know, I want to talk about me, because you may say, okay, Brandon said Jim Acosta. I say Jim Acosta. My dad Americanized that last name 30 years ago. But you might be wondering about my roots. My dad is a Cuban immigrant. He came to this country in September of 1962. This was 3 weeks before the Cuban Missile Crisis. He moved to the Washington, D.C. area with my grandmother. He was only 11 years old at the time. And I tell people I like to call him one of the original dreamers. That's right. Came here when he was 11 years old. He had never experienced winter in D.C. before. He had never seen snow. Came from a tropical island. And a Presbyterian church in Vienna, Virginia, right outside of Washington, gave my dad and my grandmother coats and sweaters so they could stay warm in that very first winter in Washington, D.C., because they just had never been cold before. My dad tells me about the teacher at his elementary school that taught him how to read and write and speak English at a very young age. And that story, those stories have always stayed with me throughout my life. And the reason why is because I ask, what kind of a country would we be today if my father's adopted homeland had acted differently at that time? I can't imagine hearing a story where my dad and my grandmother were called criminals as they arrived here in the United States. My family was shown love and kindness when they came to this country. Wasn't always pretty, wasn't always perfect, but they were greeted with love in this country. And unfortunately, that's not what we see here today. What do we see today? We see immigrants being painted with a broad and ugly brush. We see communities, as this gentleman was saying earlier, living in fear. To make matters worse, and you may remember this, I witnessed this firsthand, we're being told by the White House that the Statue of Liberty no longer stands as a beacon of hope to immigrants in this country. Don't boo. Do your job. That's what we do. We're journalists. We know the truth. We know what generations of immigrants have brought to America as they have followed that beacon of hope to the United States. They have brought their dreams. And through their hard work, our immigrants, all of us, our mothers, our fathers, our abuelas, our abuelos, they have demonstrated what it means to be an American. So take heart, is what I say to all those dreamers out there. My family, mi familia, and so many others, all of you here tonight, you are living proof that the dreamers should keep on dreaming in this country. A dream delayed is not a dream denied. And I think that's an important message. It doesn't mean we're taking one side or the other. We can show compassion for these kids. We can show compassion for these kids and still be journalists at the same time. Another thing I've learned over the course of my career, and perhaps more so in recent months, is this. Just because a politician says something does not make it so. This was long before Donald Trump came on the scene. That's why we're journalists. For example, though, this president, referring to what's happening right now, has referred to journalists, including all of us here tonight, as the enemy of the people. Do I look like the enemy of the people? I don't think you look like the enemy of the people. Nothing can be further from the truth. And some of the younger journalists gathered here tonight need to understand something. Not only is this not normal, just want to make sure you know this as a younger journalist when you're covering the president or talking about issues involving the president. Yes, that is not normal. But put that aside for a moment. There's something we can all do as journalists, and that is, and you can still do this and be a journalist at the same time, you can stand up to this kind of rhetoric and continue to do your jobs. You stand up to this rhetoric by continuing to do your jobs. Report the facts. Report the facts. Tell the truth. Don't be afraid. That's why our founding fathers talked about something called self-evident truths. They are truths that are evident to all of us. You can use your own eyes and ears. You can use your own mind to determine for yourselves what the truth is. And this is the truth. We are a nation of immigrants. The Statue of Liberty is a beacon of hope to the world. And we are not the enemy of the people. As I was saying earlier today, we are the voice of the people. Generations of Americans, generations of immigrants before us have fought too hard. They have sacrificed too much for this generation to suddenly surrender our abilities to determine for ourselves what is true and false, what is real, and yes, what is fake. I believe we will show the world that we will be that beacon of hope, that we are the brightest light in the universe. at this moment, right now, you can be that beacon of hope, doing your job, shining that light of truth into a world that seems to be consumed with darkness. You are the light. You are the light. The people here tonight are part of that light. And, you know, that is a responsibility that we have, to be that beacon of hope in this country. And that means our liberties are protected. Our differences are respected. And the truth, yes, is always free. And for those dreamers out there who may be wondering what is happening to this country that they've known since they were little kids, your dreams do live on. Thank you very much for this honor tonight.
Wait, Jim, before you go, I'm a huge fan, by the way. So are my tias back from, I'm from South Texas, down on the border. And I have to ask you one question before you get off the stage. Very serious. Could I take a selfie with you?
Absolutely, yeah.
Because if I don't get one with you, my tias will be upset. Yeah, guys, can you help me out with some of the light? And Brandon, come on over, please. I mean, I feel like you guys should all participate in this as well. So we're going to try and pick up the house lights. Yes? Maybe? Yes. So I feel like this is really important. Yes, so I think one of these, yes, like one of those. You have longer arms. Can you do this? Okay, thank you. All right. So at the count of 3, I just need you guys to raise your hands up to kind of give us like some funness. All right. Don't break my camera. It's CBS owned. Okay, 1, 2. Everybody. Yeah. Very nice. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.
Jim, this way. I do want to say, when I called Jim to tell him that I was giving him my presidential award, he was in Germany at the time covering President Donald Trump at the G20 summit. And I was like, Jim, are you there? The signal was kind of off and on. And then he's like, text me, tweet me. But that's how he found out that I was giving him my presidential award. He was always on the job.
Very touched.
Thank you. I deleted like 2 of my son's videos, like him crawling and him walking for that one selfie. So I am hoping that this works out. It was good. All right, again, thank you guys so much for joining us. I see that you guys are getting some wonderful food, but please keep paying attention to me because this is how I get paid for CBS News. Okay. Wow. So obviously tonight we've had some incredible people. Was that my boss? Was that my boss? Yeah, I hear you, girl. We've had some incredible people on this stage so far tonight. It has been filled with some incredible talent, dedication, and inspiring stories. Our next Hall of Fame inductee embodies all of that and continues to impress us all. In fact, we were just talking about her backstage, about how she has influenced even my producer, for example. She is described by colleagues across the board as a true pioneer for Latino journalists. She has an incredible ability to help influence and achieve accurate and fair coverage of Latinos and all communities. Nancy proved this as a key member of the Los Angeles Times team who won a Pulitzer Prize gold medal for public service in 1984, and that is why we should bow down to her. Here is a look at her quiet but powerful voice.
I always tell people that I spent 16 miserable months of my life as a journalist at the stock market. I looked under Mexican Americans, I looked under Hispanics, I looked under Latinos, and then I gave up and I asked the librarian,
After 30 years at the LA Times, we are very proud to induct Nancy Rivera Brooks into the NAHJ Hall of Fame. Come on now.
Wow, thank you so much. A little context, that video, the Marauders series, was a story that ran in '82 about how Latino gangs were using the freeways like rivers to maraud in the Anglo parts of town. And it so outraged my colleagues and I that it gave birth first to a series about African Americans in Los Angeles, and then we did our series about Latinos in Southern California. And we were so gratified that we won the Pulitzer Prize in 1984. It was really exciting. And this award is so exciting. I just really want to thank NAHJ and some board members, including Nathan Olivares Giles, who was one of my baby reporters, and now he's all grown up. They grow up so fast. And doing great things. I see his hand at work there. And my boss who nominated me, the Los Angeles Times business editor, Kimi Yoshino, and the colleagues who wrote such wonderful letters of support for me, that Steve Padilla, who's at the Los Angeles Times on the National Foreign Desk, and Frank Sotomayor, who is a member of our team and is now retired. Jim Acosta started talking about his parents, so I have to tell you a story about mine. They met on the student newspaper at Los Angeles City College. My father was the editor of the paper, and we think he may have been one of the first Latinos to hold that position at LACC. My mom was a cub reporter. They broke up for a few days because my father wouldn't give my mother a byline on a story that he thought she hadn't earned. Luckily, she forgave him, because otherwise I wouldn't be here or any of my 6 siblings. So journalism, I owe my life to journalism. And my father went on to a long career at the Los Angeles Unified School District, and I bet many of you quoted him over the years, Bill Rivera. So he's now retired. He couldn't be here tonight because of health reasons. But I'm so gratified because I've been a member of NAHJ for more than 2 decades, and for more than 3 decades, a member of the California Chicano News Media Association. So get it together, okay, Brandon? Work it out, play nice. These organizations do such tremendous work, both organizations. And I know that what I try to do in my little area of the newsroom is to support Latinos, the young ones that come in. They're all my babies, and they're now off flying at the Wall Street Journal and Variety, and places I can't even remember. They're all over the place. And what I try to do every day is to dole out a little tough love, print out the story and circle all the passive verbs. So give me an active verb in this one. And try to find the stories that tell our stories in the community, that are representative of us, and that when something is wrong in the paper, like the one story that I can remember is we have, of course, a celebrity real estate column, and there was an Anglo actress who had done her house up in hacienda style, complete with the sleeping Mexican on the porch. And I said, let's not run that photo because I find it offensive, and I know a lot of our readers will. So the photo got pulled. You just have to always, you always have to be pushing for the stories, pushing for the diverse sources, and making sure somebody isn't messing up somewhere. So what I'm trying to do every day is what I recognize all of you are trying to do every day in your jobs. And so for me, this this induction into the Hall of Fame is really, I dedicate this award to all of you out there because I think we're all Hall of Famers here. So thank you very much.
If you guys didn't get to see the back of her jacket, it has La Virgen on it. Love it. We'd like to continue tonight by taking the time to commemorate those that we have lost in the last year. I wanted to take a look at some of the incredible contributions that all of these people have made to our community as journalists, but also as Latinos. He went from an intern to the Los Angeles Times LA Bureau Chief, Anthony Marquez. Someone I knew personally out of the San Antonio area, Tino Duran, who was also the founder of La Prensa out of San Antonio. We also have Guillermo Benitez, a beloved anchor for Univision. And last, but certainly not least, a woman who broke the glass ceiling for all of us Latinas and journalists. Cecilia Alvear will always be greatly missed, but surely never forgotten.
When I was on the board, I used to paraphrase President Kennedy and tell our members, ask not what NAHJ can do for you, ask what you can do for NAHJ, helping navigate the many challenges that we, as journalists of color, face in this brave new world of journalism. Viva NAHJ!
Soy una mujer, tengo sueños, estoy casada con el destino, no con la vida, porque la vida Eso es lo que tengo que decir. Ya va amanecer.
Thank you. What a wonderful tribute. Cecilia was one of my mentors, and I counted on her for a lot of advice. When she first introduced me to George Lewis, she introduced me as he was her man friend. So here's George.
Too old to be a boyfriend. Cecilia was the love of my life. She was my best friend. She was my soulmate. You folks probably know her better as the past president of NAHJ and an inductee into the Hall of Fame 10 years ago. She was a relentless campaigner for greater diversity in newsrooms. She was a generous mentor to young Latino journalists, and she always tried to get news directors and news editors to cover Latino issues more thoroughly and more fairly. Her legacy is considerable. She is survived by 4 sisters, one of whom lives in Southern California. Magdalena Alvear is down here at the president's table with us tonight. To carry on her legacy of helping young Latino journalists, I can't tell you how many times I've come to NAHJ functions and kids come up to her and say, you know, you helped me get my start in this business. You sent me to this workshop or that job fair, or you told me about openings, and you launched my career. It was a huge part of her legacy, and I'd like to help continue that legacy by giving this check for $10,000 to the NAHJ Scholarship Fund. Brandon, use it well.
Thank you, George, very much. This $10,000 will go to the next generation of journalists. Thank you very much for this contribution.
Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends. We're so glad you could attend. Come inside, come inside.
That was amazing, wasn't it? Beautiful man, beautiful husband, beautiful supporter of NAHJ. And it goes to show, obviously, that you don't have to be brown to be a supporter of NAHJ. Thank you so much to George tonight for being, Thank you so much to George tonight for being here with us tonight. And thank you all for helping us commemorate some of the unforgettable colleagues who will always be a part of the NAHJ familia. So please, one more round of applause for all of those so we've lost. Now, this is what we call in the news business a very hard transition. We're going to pivot over and continue to honor the next 2017 inductee for his longtime dedication to a mentorship role he has never lost sight of throughout his entire career. Dino has kept the young Hispanic journalists in the U.S. newsrooms a core focus of his mission. With several decades working on diversity initiatives, we could all use a little more Dino in us. Who wrote that? It was not me. Let's take a look at some of Dino's highlights from his outstanding career.
My career began not with the ability to put a phrase together, or the ability to to interview a grieving relative, or even to interview a president or two, and then write a story. What fed me was the cause. Journalism, you see, is noble work. It may not be up there with the clergy, but it certainly is up there with law, with education, and as you certainly know, with medicine.
A very big congratulations to Dino Kiaki as we induct him into the Hall of Fame. Please give him a big round of applause as he joins me here on the stage.
Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends. We're so glad you could attend. Come inside, come inside. There behind the glass stands a real blade of grass. Be careful as you pass. Move along, move along. Come inside, the show's about to start. Guaranteed to blow your...
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you, my fellow UTEPers. Thank you for that. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It is so good to be here on an NHJ stage once again. As that song says, welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends. The show that never ends, ladies and gentlemen, is a battle for parity in our newsrooms. While the song is upbeat, don't let that upbeat sound belie the meaning. We are fighting and have been fighting the battle for years, for decades. And you know what? The cavalry is finally coming over the hill. Those soldiers of parity are the millennials, some of them members of that wonderful group of people known as dreamers. And I'm proud to have so many of them among my students at UTEP. They are the most diverse population, group this country has ever known. And as they work their way into our newsrooms, they will diversify the workforce once and for all. And years from now, when they're in management, our newsrooms finally will reflect the communities that we cover. My thanks to all the millennials. Thank you for choosing this profession. And I want to thank all of you. I have found a home here. As a student at my alma mater, UTEP, I was selected to be a student representative to a prestigious journalism organization, a profound honor. But I didn't feel at home. It felt like a country club. And it felt like at any moment, somebody would toss me the keys to the golf cart. And then I found NHJ. I found a home right here. I was among people like me. Some thought the same, some thought differently, but nonetheless, it felt like home. Thanks to all of you for accepting me into your bosom. Thank you so much. I want to thank NHJ President Brandon Benavides, the board and the many board members and my colleagues with whom I served during my 13 years on the board of NHJ, including to his president. I am honored and humbled to have led this organization for which I have so much affection. This award is given to people like George Ramos, Cecilia Alvear, Ernie Sotomayor, Maggie Rivas Rodriguez, and my colleague at UTEP, Cita Rocha. But not me. I'm a kid with extremely humble beginnings from Sunset Heights, a neighborhood in El Paso, in the shadow of the Franklin Mountains, not too far from the Rio Grande. This is hallowed ground I'm stepping on tonight, and I'm honored. I assure you, I don't take this honor lightly. I'm also pleased to be honored my fellow honorees tonight. Congratulations to all of you. I have to thank my wife, Mari Carmen Kieki. As this industry has dealt its mild setbacks to my career, she has been there, supportive, with a smile at every turn. I've relocated her from Lima, Peru, to Dallas, to San Antonio, and now to El Paso, where I teach at the University of Texas at El Paso. I want to thank my mother, who taught me the value of the word. My mother was trilingual and could speak and write English, Spanish, and Italian. My mother knew pioneering Latino journalist Ruben Salazar well, and she introduced me to him through his work. He inspired me to become the journalist that I've become, and now the professor that I am. I thank them. I want to leave you with this. In my wayward youth, I was at a bar on Austin 6th Street one evening during the time I was working for the Austin American-Statesman. After a few beers, well, I had to run to the restroom. Being a fan of the written word, I started to read the graffiti on the wall. I ran across this on the wall, and mind you, I was in the heart of Longhorn country. On the wall it said, UTEP, not a lot of money, but a lot of soul. Tears welled in my eyes. That's my alma mater. I thought that's me. And now it's my students. And it is also NHJ. Lots of soul and lots of ganas. That's us, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
It's rock and roll.
You know, if there's one thing I've taken away from this entire conference the last few days is I think Nick Valencia probably put it best over at the luncheon. He said, you've got to take a moment to turn around, look behind you, and reach back. You've got to keep reaching back, because I can't tell you how many people have reached back and pulled me up to give me an opportunity in this news business. Right now, we need each other more than ever, and this next inductee gives me so much excitement. I'm proud to introduce her. Jody Hernandez of NBC News has come full circle as we celebrate her career tonight. As a student member of NAHJ, Jody found a great deal of resource and value in the association's ability to help her career forward. Now, with admiration, we watch her take all of the tools and knowledge she has gained and invested in others. I've seen her work with some of these student journalists. It is amazing what she can do. Let's take a moment to look at some of the high-profile coverage Jody has accomplished in her career as well.
Hello, Jody. Diane, this is a deadline that impacts tens of thousands of California children.
To the Oakland Zoo, face to face with grizzly bears, mountain lions, and jaguars.
Until March 1st to get medical coverage before rates potentially skyrocket. 5-year-old William suffers from asthma. His mother says he gets sick so often. Health insurance is an absolute. They could open the project in 2015. But Friends of the Park promised to fight it. March 1st, rates are expected to rise. Reporting live in Oakland, I'm Jody Hernandez, NBC Bay Area News.
It's with great pleasure I welcome Jody Hernandez into the NAHJ Hall of Fame.
Wow. Thank you all so very much. I can't explain how overwhelming this honor is, one I never dreamt I'd be receiving. It really doesn't seem that long ago that I was at NAHJ at my very first convention, but it was nearly 3 decades ago. I was 19 years old. And that convention, it was life-changing. Not only did I connect with my future husband, Victor Escobedo, who many of you know, who is also a student at the Latino Reporter Student Projects, but for the very first time, I got to work with working professionals, side by side, professionals from the Wall Street Journal, from the New York Times, from NPR, Mandalit Del Barco, I don't know if she's here. Efrain Hernandez, are you here? I think you're here. Though tough, they were very tough. They embraced and encouraged me. There was a sense of being on common ground, where seasoned professionals treated students as legitimate peers. I'm the first one in my family to go to college. I'm 3rd generation Mexican American. I am the daughter and the granddaughter of farm workers. And I know many of you have the same shared experience. Many of us at some point have been the only Latino in our newsroom. In many cases, as it was for me, the only Latino when I worked in Wichita, Kansas, to mentor students. I know there are many students here who represent the future of our profession. Over the 8 years that I had the privilege to be a mentor and to coordinate the television project here at NAHJ, El Noticiero, I was able to encourage and share and offer some guidance to the next generation of journalists. And as they started their journey and became excellent journalists, students like Miguel Almaguer, Rosa Flores from CNN. They are both, I believe, in Florida right now covering hurricanes. These students have made us so proud. So we make a difference. So to all of the students out there and to all of you, I want to say remember to give back. And to NAHJ, please continue to support our student projects. There's nothing more important. They make a huge difference. It's up to all of us to keep the spirit alive. I want to thank my parents. They are here. Oh my goodness. They're the ones that gave me my work ethic. There's no harder working man that I know than my father. There's no more caring woman than my mother. They gave me my work ethic, and they also taught me to be kind and compassionate. Thank you so much. I love you so much. Thank you for the example you have set. Of course, to my amazing husband, Victor Escobedo, who has been with me from the very start of this journey. NAHJ helped me launch my career and a family. I mean, what more can you ask for? And to my beautiful children, Jose and Mateo, there they are. They're my little loves, and they're really what keep me going. And you're so for investing in me and for honoring me with this tremendous group of inductees. Thank you so much. This just means the world.
I hate to say this, but my time with you is almost done tonight. I hope that we have all enjoyed it, because I can't see any of you, so I've really enjoyed it tonight. I will also say I do have one little suggestion to some of the crew here. You know, we just heard Jody talk about how she met her husband at NAHJ several decades ago, which I think is incredible. Familiar story, my producer, Luz Villarreal, we're not cousins. Right there, thank you, Luz. She's been keeping me in line tonight. She met her husband, Dino, at an NAHJ conference as well. So I think we should maybe consider kind of adjusting the slogan for NAHJ, like, you know, making the newest journalists, but we were the original Match.com, you know, or like something like, you know, making new lifting up new journalists and making marriages happen, or something like that. Like, we'll work on it for next year. Hopefully you guys will have me back. Thank you. Thank you. That's why I love breaking news. So I will just finish off by saying that I am not the woman with all the power. The person I'm going to introduce next is the woman with all the power. The election period has ended for the National Board, and one of our vice presidents and election chair, Nancy Flores, will present now the results for NAHJ's new leadership. Please give her a round of applause.
Nancy is our secretary, and she's also serving as our election chair. Nancy, the election results, please.
Drum roll. Good evening, I'm Nancy Flores, and I had the honor of serving as this year's election chair. I'd like to thank everyone who voted and participated, as well as all of the candidates who stepped forward in the hopes of serving NAHJ on the board of directors. And before I announce the election results, I'd like to recognize, you guys met earlier, the current board of directors, and I just want to give them all a round of applause again because they volunteer on top of their full-time journalism jobs, and we appreciate their commitment to NAHJ. And now for the winners of the 2017 election. And when I call your name, please come up to the stage. We have for Region 1, representing Puerto Rico, Mexico, the Virgin Islands, congratulations, Rafael Mejia. For Region 2, representing Connecticut, Maine, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, New York, New Jersey, Rhode Island, and Vermont, Geraldine Coles Azocar. For Region 3, representing Delaware, Kentucky, Maryland, Pennsylvania, Virginia, DC, and West Virginia, congratulations, Rosalba Ruiz. For Region 4, representing Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Mississippi, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Tennessee, Paula Machado. For Region 6, representing Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Michigan, Minnesota, Missouri, Montana, this is a large region, Nebraska, North Dakota, Ohio, South Dakota, and Wisconsin, Blanca Rios. Congratulations. For our Region 7 director, representing Nevada, Utah, Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, and Wyoming, congratulations, Diana Nañez. For Region 8, representing Alaska, California, Hawaii, Idaho, Oregon, and Washington, Brian de los Santos. For student representative, representing students from all across the country, congratulations, Daniela Ibarra. And for Vice President of Print, she couldn't join us today, but congratulations, Maria Peña. Thank you so much. And I introduce to you the new Board of Directors for 2017. And if we could have the current board, returning board, to come on and join us on stage as well.
He's got an hour. We're all in this together.
This is how the board of directors works, actually. They didn't get them in.
Thank you, and congratulations to our new board members. Good luck, and our work starts tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Don't be late to our board meeting. We're going from 10 to noon. Thank you, Nancy, for serving as our election chair, and thank you for everybody who ran. I'd also like to take, I was serious about the board meeting, I have my gavel. Tomorrow, don't forget. I also like to take, I would like to remind everybody you can donate to our NHJ Scholarship Fund. Go to nhj.org and you can donate to the Scholarship Fund. I also like to take the time to thank the NHJ staff, especially our Executive Director, Alberto Mendoza. He works day in and day out to ensure our partnerships, association strategy, and membership are all solid. He also wakes me up when I'm asleep because I sleep during the day when there's an emergency. But that's okay, Alberto, you can do that. Please welcome Alberto Mendoza.
Hola, 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 buenas noches. Thank you so much. This feels like the last step of what's been an incredible week. One that's been full of surprises and highs and just overall a great experience. And so many of you have been so complimentary. So I want to thank all of you for being here. Of course, I want to thank our honorees. You've set such an incredible example for all of us. And all of the students that are here just continue to look up to you. So thank you so much for all your work. And I also want, yes, actually, let's give another round of applause, please. I also really want to thank our sponsors because we could never quite do this without you. And I especially would like to thank Toyota, who is our leading sponsor tonight. So please let's give them a round of applause. We have Adriana Holguin and Adrian Tremble, who continue to support our efforts that Pat Pineda started. And really, Toyota has been a strong supporter of our Latino community. And so tonight, they're our hosts. They've been a consistent partner for us, and we're very grateful. Now, we did a little exercise, and we had a contest for students to create a video on what it means, what diversity means to them. And so we have two winners. And the first winner is Brandon Gomez. So Brandon, come on up. Actually, we're going to see his video, right?
To reflect that change in our newsrooms accurately. Diversity needs to happen at all levels. From the executive producer who's deciding what the rundown is for the show that day, to the producer who's sending the reporter out in the field to cover the story, for the reporter who's asking the questions, and for the person who's telling their story.
Mexicans coming to El Paso for work and school are facing more and more questioning, and advocates are fighting for their right to be here.
It's a two-part process. It's diversity and inclusion. Diversity is inviting the person to the party, and then inclusion is asking them to dance once they get there. And we need to make sure we're all on the dance floor having one heck of a time. And that's the responsibility of all of us as journalists. As part of the next generation of journalists, I can tell you that I'm committed to diversity and inclusion, to making sure that our stories are told, and to making sure that we take on our responsibility, which is to make sure that people are ready to embrace these changes. And the truth is, if our newsrooms aren't diverse, we're not being accurate. Our voices matter, and those stories need to be told.
Eso, muy bien, felicidades. And our second winner is Angelica Casas, so let's have her come up. Angelica? Now, Toyota is actually providing each of the winners an Apple computer and a media kit that includes sound, editing software, and things that are going to help all of you continue to do your great work. So we're gonna see your video now. No, they're both good, yeah. Let's take a look.
My career in journalism began almost 10 years ago. I was a sophomore in high school writing for the campus paper. And since I became involved in this profession, even if in that small way, I started hearing that there was a problem in diversity in journalism. And that problem exists because there's not enough women, there's not enough people of different socioeconomic backgrounds, there's not enough people of different cultural backgrounds, of different nationalities, people who speak different languages. All of this is lacking in different newsrooms across the country. And historically, We know that journalism as a profession began here in the United States through English immigrants who were writing, or predominantly writing. There was no video or photo, but they were doing this for other English immigrants. And in the last 300 years, our country has changed dramatically. The population, the demographics have changed. We know that we're one of the most diverse countries in the world, and our newsrooms have to represent that. Because if not, there's going to be a gap in the kind of journalism that we're producing. We're not going to be telling stories about different communities if we don't know those communities, if we don't have somebody in the newsroom to remind us what's happening in those communities. People who are, I don't know, even just different interests, people who have different interests, who have different kinds of religious backgrounds that can enlighten us, people who, I don't know, come from, a different kind of upbringing. We need all of these kind of insights in our newsrooms. If not, it's going to be like what my mom says when she's cooking. Le falta sazón al caldo. Si no le pones las especies necesarias, le va a faltar sazón. So if you don't have the necessary spices in a newsroom, your journalism is not going to be of the best quality. It's not going to be as tasty or even just flavorful. You're going to be lacking different ideas, different kinds of stories that people might want to hear about, and you don't know that people want to hear about because you're not even embedded into that community. So we need to definitely change the way that we're approaching recruiting in newsrooms. We have to include different people, different kinds of perspectives, different kinds of gender. We have to include more women in journalism. And that's something that has been a problem in the last 10 years since I began, and it's going to continue being a problem until we fill the voids and have newsrooms that look like what our country looks like, different colors, different faces, different names, different pronunciations. We need that.
And again, congratulations. And thank you, Toyota, again, for providing this kit that's going to continue to help your careers. Thank you so much. Congratulations. All right. So we're coming to the close. It's just about that time, and all of you have been so patient, and I actually haven't heard the sheep noise again, so I don't know where that came from. But it didn't come from back here, so it's one of you. Thank you again for being here. Obviously, the hurricane changed a lot of things for us. We've been kind of moving things around, changing speakers, modifying our program, and I especially want to thank Mireya Villarreal for filling in, really, for being our announcer tonight, because she filled in for us from CBS News. So thank you, Mireya. To me, this experience at NAHJ, now it's been 2 years. Last year, I jokingly said that it was my first year and that I was done, and I was announcing my resignation at the gala, which some found funny and some thought I was serious. But the reality is that there's a lot of work, and I'm really enjoying what I'm doing. And for me, being at NAHJ is part of a full circle experience. And with me tonight, I have my beautiful mother in the corner here. We'll put the spotlight on her later. We have my nephew. We have my partner of 18 years, John. I have a friend from junior high school who's here, and one of my best friends that are here. And they provide this sense of support and calm and peace, especially when things get a little bit tough here at NAHJ. But we continue. And 30 years ago, just about this time, when I was in high school, when I say it's full circle, this is why this is full circle, I started a school newspaper in Spanish at my high school. I was raised by the San Diego-Tijuana border, and I know there's several San Diego-Tijuana people. Where are you? Eso. And I found it very interesting that we had about 65% Latino students. Of those, half were crossing the border daily. And we had about 25% of those students who were Filipino, and the rest other. But the Filipino kids ran the school. They were a part of student government, they were a part of cheerleading, they really just were very engaged. And I didn't understand why our Latinos, the majority, really didn't play a significant role. So I started asking for more, I knew that there was a language barrier, so I started asking and pushing for information in Spanish. I said, come on, if we put down the tryout rate, the dates when people are trying out for soccer, or for cheerleading, or for ASB, maybe they're gonna start getting more involved. And the first answer I got was, well, they're here to learn English. No. How many of you have heard that before? Right? Pushing back. Well, they said no. A few months later, I was elected student body vice president, and I came back, and now I didn't ask for permission. I said, now I want an insert in your newspaper, and I want stories about our community so that we can do more to engage our community, but also tell our stories that were not already being told in our school newspaper. It was a challenge, but I am happy to say that 30 years later, the school paper is thriving, it continues to grow, and it's 2 classes of journalism. So I didn't quite imagine that I'd be here 30 years later, but I also wouldn't have imagined that what I want to share now is part of that full circle. Last year in June, we were in San Francisco attending the San Francisco chapter meeting and also meeting with the ABC newsroom. We had a conversation with the news director about some of the challenges, what do we need to do, what are the things that young students or young journalists really still need support in. We talked about things that actually also matter with writing, but also being on time, dressing appropriately. And this beautiful young lady in the corner said, you know that, I know what that's like. I was raised in San Isidro, and I didn't know what professional dress code meant in corporate America. How would I learn that? And I thought, San Isidro, huh? I asked her, what high school did you go to? And before we continue, I want to bring Vanessa out. Vanessa Nevares. Vanessa said, I went to Montgomery High School. And I said, yeah. I said, I went to Montgomery High School. And I started a school newspaper 30, or at the time, 29 years ago. And she looked at me and got very teary-eyed and said, La Voz Azteca, which was the name of the paper, is the reason why I'm a journalist today. So then I got teary-eyed. And we had this really cool moment. And sometimes we don't know exactly what we're doing to help another generation. And sometimes we're very conscious of it. But what we're experiencing tonight is really constant examples of how that happens and how we continue to make a difference for others. And so I'm very proud of you, but I also want you to tell them the things that you've been doing since you started your career in journalism.
Well, thank you, everybody, for being here, by the way. I just want to say that you forgot to mention it was like a corporate meeting. Like, it was ABC 7 in San Francisco, and myself and him, and we got teary-eyed in front of, like, the news director and everybody else. So it was very awkward. But what I wanted to say is I would not be here for La Voz Azteca, and you have to pardon me because I have to get my notes on this. I wouldn't be here for anything that didn't start through Albert's initiative, you know, his passion, his wanting to change that community. But at the same time, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the many people that have seen me throughout the way. And I really do have to take my notes, but I guess Apple just erased them all. So I guess it's coming from my heart. So what I want to say is, yes, I'm here because of La Voz Azteca. I would not be a journalist, I would not be an editor, I would not be any of what I am, but also I would not be here for those people that nurtured me and took me by the hand in my first convention. Everyone who was there from day one. Albert was the stepping stone, and La Voz Azteca was the stepping stone for me. But my first convention as a student, I didn't know anyone. I just kind of spoke to everyone and just said, hey, I'm Vanessa. I'm the nerd and the student. I don't know who you are, but hey, take a chance with me, right? So the thing is that we nurture our students, but we also have to nurture those that took us by the hand. So we have everyone who, I have a long list, and I know you guys know me, and if you don't know me yet, you will by the end of the night, because I will come up to you. But I mean, we have, Vicky Adame, we have Yvonne Lati, we have Claudia Cruz, who's my president of the NHA Bay Area chapter that I serve with her. I mean, the list goes on. We have the up-and-coming future of NHJ, but I just want to make it very, very clear that in order for NHJ to go forward, yes, we invest in our students, but we also have to invest and nurture those relationships that help the students get to where they're at. By the way, I'm still a student, I'll always be a student, forever. I mean, whatever happens, but what I'm saying is, we have Vicky Adame, I believe, in the back, we have Sandra Whaley Gonzalez in the back, and I'm just very, very grateful. When I mean, and I'm sorry, I know I have to wrap it up, but when I mean that this is my family, I mean this is my family. I don't mean that because I want to look pretty up here. I literally mean that it's my family. I have lived on my own since I was 18, and I had to live in a car. And guess who inspired me to get where I'm at? All of you. Who still inspires me now? All the students that are back there. We have Lucio Villa, we have Grace Cueva. These are the future of NHJ. So just as we are family, and we are family, we fight, and we laugh, and we cry, and we do everything that a family does. In fact, Vicky, I'm sorry, que te fastidio, but I do. I'm sorry, I love you. I just want to say thank you, everybody, for coming here, and you know what? Enjoy yourselves. We are family.
Thank you. And what she failed to say was that after Montgomery, she went on to be the editor of her school paper, then went on to San Francisco State and started our student chapter there, and just has continued to do and give back, just as she says. So for me, again, this is a full circle moment. I was humbled when I heard that we had that connection. I am humbled when I hear the contributions that many of you continue to make in the industry. And I'm grateful that we have an organization that continues to do what I really kind of have always been committed to, is helping others behind us and pulling them up. So thank you again so much for being here. We are very grateful you're here. Thank you to all of our attendees, and of course to our board and our sponsors. Have a good night. Thank you so much.
Cumbia porro maracatú para que te lo goces tú. Esta noche va derecho, yo te quito ese despecho. Cumbia porro maracatú para que te lo goces tú. Esta noche va derecho, yo te quito ese despecho. Cumbia porro maracatú es lo que trajimos, Colombia, Brasil, por aquí estamos reunidos. Un sonido diferente para tu cuerpo y para tu mente. Botella bailando, este ritmo está bien candente. De Bogotá hasta Recife, Venezuela, Nueva York, la dama aquí va llegando con todo y con su flow. Te digo, a ti camino mío, ven para aquí, caminamos bien. Cumbia porro maracatú para que te lo goces tú. Esta noche va derecho, yo te quito ese despecho. Cumbia porro maracatú para que te lo goces tú. Esta noche va derecho, yo te quito ese despecho. Puro talento, sentimiento, ay contento. Tengo el corazón de tenerte aquí todo el tiempo por dentro. Con tu cumbia, tu flow, tu sabor. Ay mi vida, mi cariño, yo te quiero con un beso suavecito, lento. A ti te quiero pa' bailar el frevo, el carnaval del mundo entero. Cumbia maracatú para que te lo goces tú. Esta noche va derecho, yo te quito ese despecho. Cumbia porro maracatú para que te lo goces tú. Esta noche va derecho, yo te quito ese despecho. Cogemos este pasito y bailemos bien riquito. Cogemos este pasito y bailemos bien riquito. Dame otro poquito, dame otro poquito. Dame otro poquito, dame otro poquito. Cogeme este pasito y bailemos bien riquito. Cogeme este pasito y bailemos bien riquito. Dame otro poquito, dame otro poquito. Dame otro poquito, dame otro poquito, dame otro poquito, dame otro poquito. Tu maraca, tu maraca, tú. Cumbia porro maracatu para que te lo goces tú. Esta noche va derecho, yo te quito ese despecho. Cumbia porro maracatu para que te lo goces tú. Esta noche va derecho, yo te quito ese despecho. Cumbia porro maracatu para que te lo goces tú. Esta noche va derecho, yo te quito ese despecho. Cumbia porro maracatu para que te lo goces tú. Esta noche va derecho, yo te quito ese despecho.
One last round of applause for Las Damas, and of course, this wonderful lady on stilts. Girl, don't you fall on me. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. It has been a pleasure and an honor to be here with you. Don't forget, next year, we will see you in Miami 2017. Los vemos en Miami. Thank you again, and stick around because we have a lot of dancing to do at the Grand Violet. Thank you again, guys. Have a good night.